It doesn't seem to stop at all. If you fall on Emily, the consequences are unimaginable. Monica looked at the finish line in front of her. Monica is determined to close her eyes. I saw Monica's expression. The crowd screamed in amazement. Look, Monica, turn around. Monica called Sao. She'll be able to take first class if she runs. Monica's lightning fast pulling Emily off the track. Emily looked at Monica. You helped me. Monica replied, you didn't say that. The first friendly match. After determining Emily was not Sao. Monica Swivel who continues to compete. I'll keep playing. Be careful. Ellie head touching by towel, hand Monica. In that situation can still get second class. I don't know why I'm so excited right now. Liu Feng laughed and said, that's the appeal of sports. That's the original purpose when you organize the games. After the end of the contest, Monica and Emily shake hands as flowers. Embarrassed Emily said, sorry, congratulations on your second-class performance. Let's try it in the end. Monica smiled and said, thank you. As expected of this end, laughing. But on the field, everyone fights. Competing with each other. VA touch shoot out spark. But outside the yard, can still a smile erase all hatred. Become even better friends. That's the sports spirit. It brought people everywhere to the Han Dynasty. True unity together. You two just got into a fight that's too much to live for. Now hugging each other crying bitterly. Sorry, we shouldn't scold you. That we're not right. We think we're evil. I don't think Miss Monica is right. Ellie here also hugged the wind. Emotional crying. I can't believe the young man still has this idea. Next year, I also joined the young master at this time. Mina opened the door and went inside. Sue Ellie's skinny limbs like you. Maybe the first 100 meters are hard to get through. Ellie angry, stormed by this obnoxious massage with big boobs. Dare to tease me. Mina was lightning fast away from Ellie laughing and joking. Can't catch, can't catch. Ellie now hugged Mina tightly. The cold said yes. Who said I couldn't catch it? You can't move, can you? Mina was hugged flushed, and her face stuttered without Ellie's words. She hugged. Hold on tight. Let go. I have a job. Ellie hugged Mina more tightly than she let go. Sei Feng took a blood towel nose exclamation. It's a beautiful sight. After a while of joking, Mina gets serious. Okay, I really have something to report. Ellie wondered what was going on. Mina said that this morning someone came from somewhere else. I deliberately came from another city. Really can't, and why? I can't sell more tickets. The guards had no other way. Shaking your head in rejection, Mina looked at the young master and asked him. There's a lot of people outside the stadium now. They're through interrogation. They're all geeks from other places. I admire hearing the name here, because there are no tickets, just out in the yard. There are some people who can't get in. They even started climbing walls. We've been mobilized to maintain order. But there are too many people. It's completely unguarded. Remember that time. The guard found you. Come down. But the Kia refused to come down crying. I want to see, don't arrest me. Mina added. There are also people who take the opportunity to raise the ticket price. The capital of a third-floor ticket in 7 has now risen to 500. There were 2 people talking about 500 a ticket. Location on the 3rd floor. If I don't buy it, I sell it to someone else. Fortunately, someone came to stop him. Don't mess up the price. Ellie also recognized the seriousness of the problem. The analysis says we've got a big operation. Staff is not enough. If it continues like this, it will not be chaos. If you get a chance to sneak in, then it's troublesome. Mina nodded and said yes to Chang'an though big. But the capacity of SAO is also limited. Many people flock to places all over the country. Chen wishes together. It's going to be an underground threat. Or advise them to return. Hand clasp chin, breathe out a breath. 2 tips to return will cost more manpower. And that group of people came from afar. It also comes from my support for you. You can't lose that. Go away. If they want to see it, let them see it. Then he whispered, Mina, you do this. After hearing this, Mina's eyes glowed. Master, this idea of yours is great. Outside the fitness ground, a curious person asked, what's the point of the guards telling us to gather here? The Kia replied, I heard someone climbing the wall wanted to come in. Some people speculate, the guard is probably not. I want to bring people from outside, like we're out. It's been hard for me to get here. In the stands, save the icy shore wind that directs everyone to declare. Everybody, please don't panic. The purpose of this event. I just want to be a sad girl. After genius can be a little hot. I can't believe people are coming from all over the country. Come here to join. It's really my honor. Beneath the exclamation is Your Majesty. I can't believe I'll see you again. It's so loud. What's the sound? This is Your Majesty's new invention. He pointed to the bottle on the table. Tickets for this event are sold out. But consider the hardship. When people come here from afar, we're temporarily designing more seats. In the stadium, free tickets. Of course, the new seats are limited. Don't be sad if you can't get in. We'll use the latest technology of Trong N, live audio radio station for everyone, so that people aren't on the scene. You can also watch the competition. The people below hear this information. Full of admiration, CA praise. Your Majesty is so powerful. You can also watch the game if you don't come in. I think everyone's focus is not right. You can even paint. Even though I can't say I can't. You should watch the radio station. Above, the sound of Liu Feng continues to resound. Don't be in a hurry to rejoice. There's something I have to remind you of. Save the mic. We've arrested a lot of people today. Violation of the Charter of Public Security Management. They've got people climbing the wall to see it. Someone raises the next ticket price. I hope you'll wake up to that. Don't do that kind of thing anymore. Even though school is not just a city. It's also the state of our Han dynasty. Face of the Great Han. It's a place where traders from all over the world. People want to lose face in front of strangers. There was the sound of the people below. Don't want us not to do that anymore. Your Majesty has spoken. We will abide by the rules, Your Majesty. Liu Feng smiled and nodded. Praise not doing any more is best. Ellie will explain what happened next. Let everyone know, I'm going down first. I hope you all have fun. Ellie here holds the IC to greet everyone. I'm the next Ellie. I'll explain how to buy a ticket and how to listen in person. We'll notify you later. People who don't understand can read themselves. Standing on one side told Mina. We'll start lining up and take them to their exact location. Be careful, happens professional trampling. Mina nodded and said yes, young master. The security guard has arrived at the checkpoint. Live scene. You don't have to worry. The MCs were temporarily chosen to direct. I don't know if they can. Make an offer. You can start the first match directly. See the effect. Then let the whole staff directly follow. To accumulate experience, Mina said yes. The first match is the women's 400-meter swim. I'll arrange it right away. He walked towards Ba, who waved hello to His Majesty Mina. Everybody's here. Jenny's swimming competition is about to start. I'd like to invite everyone to watch. Is everyone free? I still have work to do. I can't go. Turn around and shake your head. I still have work to do. I can't go. He also shook his head and said, I have a case to deal with. But if the first one was Jenny's swim. So I'm going. I also want to see Mina's first match. I have to go directly to the pool to find you. Mina quickly said yes and went to work. Put your hands out in front of Gil. Gil's face appeared red and shyly replied, It's my honor. In Gil, there is only one thought. Your Majesty is handsome. Go to the swimming pool. MC of the school recounted the progress of the competition. Now, the atmosphere of competition at the scene was intense. It was the first season of sports, but the players are tough. Swivel beautiful. Jenny on the road number 5. Started by Freedom in the last round, will she win? G. Jenner at swim track 2, using extreme speed. Join the final round of duels. But it's very clear that player Jenny is overpowered by more than. I can see the MC is so passionate. In my mind, this uncle's direct style. It's the Gil version of Qiu Sheng. I'm also excited to scream and scream. You're about to win. The MC here is equally enthusiastic. Right now, the game has finally entered a hot phase. Really a few seconds later. We will see. Free swimming army for 100 women born. Who is she? Underneath the pool. Jenny's at her destination, touching the wall. Declare victory for yourself. MC screaming first class. First class is Sugar by number 5 Jenny. Second class by multiple line, Ila private pool line 8. And you looked at Jenny coming out of the water and said, Jenny, you're so good. The MC looked at Jenny's figure, spitting a sip of fresh blood. But still do not forget the professional ethics statement. Congratulations to Miss Jenny on first place. Jenny ran to Gil with a big smile. Gil held the towel up in front of Jenny proudly. Jenny, you are my pride. Jenny playfully stuck out her tongue. I was worried about being too slow. Gil said no. All the time I lead. Praise the MC here. His direct effect is very good. I'll see Mina later. Just say I like it so directly. Tell people to learn more. The MC was warmly praised and thanked Your Majesty. Hold on to Jenny and go to exile. We meet His Majesty. When I looked at my face, I was embarrassed to say, Your Majesty is here. Why am I dressed like this? It's not okay to see him. Gil doesn't care if it's okay. Then she dragged Jenny to the front of the exile. Jenny looked at the wind sheepishly and called out, Missing GIA, save the thumbs up and praise me for watching you compete. You swim well. Jenny flushed face said, Young family building swimming pool. I find swimming very comfortable. So every day of practice after that was first class. Jenny's heart full of thought. Because I want to watch the game, I want to watch it. Do you want to watch your final match? There's actually a lot of work every day. You can withdraw the time to watch the NDTO qualifying match. Jenny, what are you thinking? In fact, having a heart is enough. I have to try. The more I thought, Jenny's face was getting redder. I look at this shape of my brother. I wonder if Jenny is happy to be original. There is also a question in my heart. What is Jenny doing? At this moment, a foot is missing. Run to the young master. LA document handle continuously speak. Matches into content telegraph transmission. Telegram content. The exile was busy with Gil's worried talk. If there is a rush, Your Majesty, go ahead. Where Jenny is, I'm for her. Jenny also said, don't you worry. If you're not here, I'll try. The two of them spoke in a loud voice. Sorry, I'll go first. Gil and Jenny waved goodbye to you. Jenny was full of regret. I'm sorry you can't watch your next match. There's no AI outside the pool right now. What's the rush? There's no AI here. You say it straight. Ellie hastened to report Ra. Bull 2 sends a telegram to guard the discovery of Pharaoh's new ships. Troops on the boat look over carefully prepared. Orderly training of about 30,000 people. We still don't know the enemy's intentions. If the enemy attacks, they will definitely capture the sea. Outside the sea match, a white boat from the sea into the depths of the land. There was a sound above the boat. I heard about my sister, who has no money. Is that my stuff yet? The answer is this timid sound. The subordinate's name announced. The news is temporary. The princess is trapped here. You can't go ashore and come back later. The city is under strict guard. It takes time to listen to the news. The man shook his head and said, no need. They are worried about the prince. The prince laughed. This news is enough to make me laugh my whole life. It is difficult to escape from a ruined city. The man in the back covered his face with his hands, in my helplessness to think again. The prince and princess went from small to big. Every time the prince knows, I believe the princess will suffer. All laugh into this virtue. The great prince takes his hand pretending to cough to voices. Even girls are just girls. Not good at fighting is normal. Then he ordered his men to give orders. 3,000 elites. We must reach this city. You have to make them their owner. The servant breathed out a breath and said yes. The great prince blinked in darkness and said, we have to throw it into the sea. In front of my sister. Let him confess to me with his own mouth. Then, in his mind, he imagined his family on their knees. Full of reverence said, and yet, you attack the city of matchmaking. Sir, the most suitable successor of Pharaoh. He is my most revered brother. The prince laughed. My mouth calls me brother. Transfer scene to the telegraph studio of Chang'an. Ellie with Her Majesty. He just went and talked about the story. Ellie you a bunch of documents on hand and said, missing GIA, we'll wait for them to tell us. No need to go directly to the radio station. Although the radio transmission is fast. But there's too much news to choose from. There is a delay. If we come directly here, we can react immediately. I saw the wind coming in. The person in charge of the telegraph studio was astounded. Ask Your Majesty. Why are you here? A serious face asked. Have you got the latest news from the sea? Employees of the telegraph levy, holding a stack of reports on the handlebar, yes. We want to send it to you like that. There's 3,000 Fabro troops at the same time. Outside the city of matchmaking, a stranger appeared. He had an axe in his hand and a violent expression on his face. The two generals asked, who is coming? Young stranger replied, I'm Knight President of Prince Ed. Away from the empire blending the checkered god Innocent. This is Your Majesty's ship. I advise you not to be ignorant. Leave the military and give us a match. He held up his shiny blade axe. His piercing eyes said, "If not, don't blame us." Change the scene to the wind and the telegraph. I sat down with Ellie on the sofa. Just sipping a cup of tea, I heard the soldiers report the situation. After having reported everything, the soldiers asked, "Here's the latest news. Do you have any instructions?" Hearing that, Ellie's face became tense. "You talk, accept adventure. And then there's Prince Eddie. I'm sure it's not a sign of encroachment. Keep the teacup on your hand." Then he calmed Ellie down. "Don't panic," the two generals replied first. "If only Farber's army would take a step ashore. Be aggressive and fight for me. You come back 5 minutes later. I wrote a letter to him, soldiers. Obey orders, yes." And then he turns around and goes on a mission. Ellie's face looked anxiously at the wind and said, "Young master, do we need to be okay? Call other cities. Send reinforcements to Haiduk." Liu Feng replied with a smile, "Don't bother. Now it's just their outpost. I have another drink." Ellie fell into deep thought. "But I always think of a good way. But absolutely no support. I can't help being too arrogant." I saw Ellie's silent expression. Save wind laughing big game. "Miss Ellie, don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Let's make a bet. In a moment, this Fapro prince will be gone. Sea matches. Absolutely no need for backup." "I dare not," Ellie said with a frown. "It's not a good bet to use this kind of thing." Then the horny woman tried to bang her hand on the table. Two sharp eyes screaming loudly, "Bets are bets. I don't believe a letter can make them go away. Give the soldiers a piece of paper and tell them. Just pass the words over there. The two generals will know what to do." The soldier clasped his hands and bowed his head respectfully and said, "Yes, your majesty." This time in the sea. Neymanet's son, Prince Eddie's retainers, got married. He arrogantly told the city guards, "You're scared." I heard that the two generals were extremely bitter. He gripped his hand tightly and held his anger in his lap. Mouth-grinding teeth said, "If not for your majesty." They came ashore to be beaten. I was soon in the boat. Rob beat them. That is death. Waiting for the guard to ring. Fisherman to general, "Your majesty sends new news. Look, Anishson's been making these attacks." But the soldiers in the city of matches still know Ho-He. Makes him a little suspicious. Contemplation of thought. What's going on? Before the battle, just tell the name of the great prince. Enemy, even if you don't lower the air, it will weaken some parts. Like nothing this time. You don't know where to go. Are you waiting for help? If you don't surrender in a moment, I will. After reading the telegraph of the downriver wind, the two generals looked out. He banged his hand up into a loud fly, speaking in a very polite tone. "You go to the sea. We should get the treatment. But you want to invade our territory. That is the enemy. The Han dynasty was an independent state. We value peace. They are not afraid of the enemy. If you force your way into our national defense, we will not be gracious." Anit Sano raised his voice for an hour. Then all his brothers stood up at the same time. Their faces are extremely arrogant. Anishson, the leader of the group, grinned. They want to use peaceful means to take the city. If you don't drink alcohol, want to drink fine, so the people who are not welcome are us. He said. He waved his hand and signaled for everyone. As the two generals remained polite, he pointed his hand at the boat. "They're getting close to them. FLIs loudly remind. Last warning you not to go ashore. If not, the consequences are self-inflicted." These words of the fisherman are out of hand. The enemy raised their weapons high. Their mouths were full of fire, and they killed them. This city will be ours. The fort has been set up by the soldiers. Just waiting for orders from your boss. The two generals hurried back. Order your subordinates quickly. Reverse rotation of the clock hand. Then fire the first cannons. Shot out towards the subordinates' boat. Prince Eddie. Make them confused. Stare at each other asking what? That's weird. The gun landed on the boat. It made a horrible explosion on the side. They're running around. Running and screaming. It's an evil object. Run. Come on, come on. What are they using? Quickly retreat a fellow running alongside Anderson. Suddenly, a bullet pierced his head. Fresh blood gushing out like rain. Then he rolled to the ground. Died at the battle. Annette's sun pale face, you stand again for 5 seconds. He thought in his heart. This is what exactly takes a human head. This one's even scarier than the one that exploded earlier. A soldier standing behind Anderson. The right hand holds the gun in a loud voice. They killed the guests from afar. It's not really a Han Dynasty tradition. Even if you act first. But I see you struggling like this. I'm not cruel either. Maybe you'll be killed by your boss. Everyone who comes ashore is taken prisoner. Give me a life-saving intelligence. Already said. The soldier gave a very kind smile. Anderson dragged his body, still not less horrified. Panic returned to base. His 2 eyes reported to His Majesty. Very loud sounds that scare that person. It must be the magic of the Han Dynasty. That in an instant caused the boat to break apart. They fly people up into the sky. It's really scary. That's what Prince Eddie said about Anderson. This is why you brought 3,000 knights over there. It's only about 1,000 people and tattered boats. The survivors returned. Kneeling down to the ground, the whole body trembled and looked cowardly. Annen's son admitted to himself. Our useless subordinates. So many knights were taken prisoner. The rest of us have a hard time keeping alive. Don T let the paint explain a lot. Prince Ed's eyes were fixed on him. And said yes. It's so useless, what am I holding you back for? And then Ed pulled out his sword. He put his sword on the Anderson's neck. It makes Anderson sweat. Pale face. His body trembled in a hurry, breaking the news. Power down. His followers discovered the princess's intelligence. Now she's not in the Han Dynasty, she's at home. That's what Prince Eddie frowned on. He raised an hour. 2 fingers Anderson gripped the blade thrown out. He went on to tell Eddie. Princess Adventure cannot go to High Deem City. Immediately to the family. Now she's taken over almost half the family city. He fought with the queen of the family. The most important thing is, Princess Phil has declared herself king. Now she's the queen of the FA Pro family. Hear that? Prince Eddie's face became angry. He was angry and said, how dare she? But Eddie's chance to relax. The Anisher gently put the blade out of his neck. Prince Ed pulled out his sword and walked away. He threatened to do it again next time. You don't have to go back to your destiny. Annen's son breathed a sigh of relief. His whole body fell to the ground. Eddie's last act makes him afraid to piss his pants. He asked my great prince again. Your Majesty did not kill me. Prince Eddie gave orders. Anchor pull command. Speed up to family. Back to a modern civilized school. The steaming coffee is already on the table. Waiting for someone to reward you. Ellie also saved Fong sitting in the library to discuss. The very. Ellie read the telegram from High Deem. I was surprised to say they were really gone. Then Ra is exactly like God. You turn around, look at the wind with admiring eyes. Ask the young master, how did you do that? What's written on that paper? Save Feng's smile, very simple analysis. I only told Niu too, after beating them. Tell them your intelligence. This prince is not associated with adventure, but directly hit the C match. You can see the news between two people. Before discord. There's even competitive competition. So he told Niu too to use artillery shells to suppress Anderson. Then report the recent situation of the adventure to him. When he returned to his post, wanting to survive will make a big deal. He also directed the fire of the prince's anger to the adventurer. Hear that? Ellie nodded in admiration at His Majesty's calculations. She laughed and said, that's what Ra is. Prince Eddie found a hard bone here. It's hard to remember to travel somewhere else. Naturally have to find soft pink fruit that's squeezed. Go to the family to find adventure first. Until then, the family gets more excited. That's it. Eliam took the neck of Liu Feng, happily accepted the bet. Young master, he won the farthest send-off. It's too late. I bet I'd give up. Save the two bright eyes, teased Ellie. Bet willing to lose. Punish me to work with you. Ellie was embarrassed to hear that. Her face was red. She hesitated to ask again. Move the two of us. My mouth doesn't like it. But in Ellie's imagination, there's all kinds of things. You two need to move. Then, Ellie banged her hands on the table. Make the coffee shoot the whole country out. She blames the poor. I'm sorry to say such embarrassing words here. His face very calmly explained. There's no shame in this. We're always busy. The body must ensure a healthy state. Especially if you are less active than me. So we have to take our time. Jogging or yoga. Something heard these words, Ellie turned her back. Don't even look at the wind. You feel a little nervous, because there were new, unhealthy thoughts. In Ellie's heart, aesthetic is the wrong idea. Fortunately, the young master did not notice if he did not lose face too much. Then the two of you sat on the sofa and talked. The telegram flowed on the table. The serious face said, let's talk about movement later. Now Ed's taking soldiers to the family. Do we need to increase family surveillance? Saved, of course. SD pull will definitely affect the family situation. Add to our thrust. The family will quickly get excited. The wind's eyes glowed with determination. At the same time in Timothy's family estate, Tim Moy and his servants are sitting on the table to discuss the government. Tim Mo asked for help. This month is really lucky, General Niu. Day and night practicing tactics with us. Thank you, replied the general. These things, they are the ones you gave me for sin. Before we start, I'm just relaying it. Your Majesty should thank you for your appointment. Tim Mothi gave a smile full of meaning. Then I thought in my heart, thank you, Your Majesty. I told you to marry him with your family. Was rejected by him. Waiting until after the war is over. Find a reason to thank him that he can't refuse. Tim Mo replied to the great. Thank you, Your Majesty, of course. But I can't take you lightly either. This sentence, that makes General Niu a little embarrassed. Red both cheeks up. Then he immediately stood up. His face was straight. The Han dynasty was strict. Your Majesty has decreed that we cannot accept gifts. Your Majesty, do not mess up. I will not accept. They can't receive either. I see the intensity in words, as well as the actions of the fisherman. Heart Modi instant car say. Don't worry. I will negotiate this with Your Majesty. Just in time for Robin to wake up. I just heard this from Tim Modi. so don't understand anything. Ask them what to negotiate. There's a new strategy. The Giler's recipe also popped up, and he asked in amazement. Tactics. What's the strategy? Tim Mo looked at the two of you seriously. Raise a reproachful voice. Have you slept enough? We've discussed the strategy. You should be ready now. Giler recipe heard that, smiling happily said. This is great fun. Very good, very spirited. Robin was also very excited. Finally out of the army. The blue animal is waking up. He looked at the excited gestures. Everyone's excitement, without understanding anything. My face is tired and my mouth is constantly turning. Suddenly, Duke Gil had short tears, long tears. Tell your Majesty Timothy you don't know. You've been studying tactics these days. We're sending the main force back. Private frontline fighting guerrilla fighters. Win less and lose more. Now, there's a rumor on the front lines. Your Majesty abandoned his family. Surrender to adventure. This time, as long as we lead the armored troops out. Conquer the town. Maybe you can stop the rumors first. Tim Mo laughed and said, Don't worry. We didn't just take back the city. Restoring the glory of the previous family. This time is hard for you. Tim Modi's face became serious. Speak out, give orders down. Tell today's soldiers not to train early. Proper tidying up, wait for tomorrow at noon to go to the front line. Robin had a question and asked. Is it too blinding during the day? Or wait for the evening? Although SAO now after the disaster many victims. Maybe there will be people of color. If you reveal a secret, you have to do something. Tim Mo looked away coldly. We don't need to march that large. Even if the evening starts, they can't hide their tracks either. And we've all been squeezed before. Now is the time to fight back. Moving the scene to Taurus as the Kingdom of Nails. Red Dealer handles the document. He is reporting the war situation to His Majesty. After half an hour, the report was completed. The Red Emperor asked His Majesty. That's the basic frontline combat situation. Do you have any further instructions? His Majesty sighed and stroked his chin and said. It's not okay if Tim Mo is really that stupid. It was soon swallowed up by the gods. Now, our front line is going so well. There must be a problem. Before me, for the investigator Tim Modi. Is there intelligence now? The pink man with a sad face handed the letter out and said, There's an intelligence that just came in. There is a seal on it, and I dare not open it. Probably related to Timothy. Your Majesty took the letter. Then blamed the subordinates, these scraps. It took so long to get the news. Your Majesty opened the letter, read it. Then she gave a sinister smile. Without being curious, he asked, What happened, Your Majesty? His Majesty replied with a smiling face. That's a good thing. You can read it without holding up the letter. I can't help but be surprised. This is the Black Deacon in the City of Death. Welcome to Your Majesty Eddie's ship. Your Majesty is now temporarily stationed in the City of Death. His Majesty smiled with satisfaction and replied, Yes. Since I got the news that Eddie wanted to come, I told the Deacon, which is dealing with natural disasters and death, Kim City. Note the brother's whereabouts. I can't believe I actually caught it. My brother has come so far. I told you to change it first. Give it to someone who must receive it properly. In this world, there is. Are you as good as I am? Now, he must have just admired the beauty of the Golden Gate. Just enjoyed the real America. Pink stands next to me. Listen to the hypocrisy Your Majesty has to say. Sighing American breath. Said it was a decent treat. I'm actually looking for a way to lock up His Royal Highness Eddie in the City of Death. The death of Kim is now. Your Majesty and His Majesty Eddie are fine.